Hello everybody. Today we're going to take a look at my Mauser 1914 pistol. It is chambered in .32 automatic. I have had this pistol since probably the mid to late 80s when I inherited it from my grandfather. I don't know when he acquired it, but I know he had it for quite a while. It is I guess what you would call a Type 3 variation. It has all its original, well, I shouldn't say all of its original. It has its original finish and grips and magazine still. It is unloaded, as you can see. Originally, these were rust blued, and there is the majority of this is still here on the gun, probably about 85-90%. A little bit of wear towards the front of the slide, and some thinning on the top of the slide. Otherwise, the front strap is very nice. The grips are extremely nice. Made in Germany on the back, which leads me to believe that this gun was made for the commercial market. It does have a crown over U proof mark on the back of this, behind the rear sight. I've always been under the impression that that meant it was a military acceptance mark, but given the made in Germany on the back and the serial number on the gun placing it in the very early 20s manufacture, 1920s that is, I suspect it's just a commercial model without the Mauser banner on the side. Like I stated, this gun is in .32 ACP. It has an 8-round magazine that's slotted on the side so you can see how many rounds are in it, and it was originally, unfinished. That's correct for the gun. When you insert, the gun stays open on the last shot, and when you insert the slide, it returns the battery automatically, which is a nice feature, and it's actually built in that way. I know that when I first handled this gun as a child at my grandpa's, it brought quite a bit of aggravation to me. I was messing around with it, and I couldn't get the slide to go forward. I'm hitting buttons and doing all kinds of stuff, and took it out to my grandpa thinking I broke it. And he just laughed at me, and he had big hands and just kind of maneuvered it a little bit where I couldn't see, and popped it closed, and I couldn't tell what he did, and he's like, all you gotta do is that, and it makes the slide go forward. But it's a nice feature for a smaller gun with a staying open on the last shot. I know my Colt automatics don't do that. I haven't shot this much. I bet you over the 35, 40 years I've owned it, I've probably fired less than 25 rounds through it. It is striker fired, very early striker fired gun, kind of like the Colt 25 autos I showed earlier. People think striker fired guns are a newer development, but they've been around for a very long time. As I stated, the gun is not loaded, but we'll show this, see? So striker fires the gun, cycles, it's a blowback, so the force of the firing forces the slide back and chambers another round. I don't really know what all to say about it. It's kind of not a whole lot more to say about it. If you have one of these and you're wanting to research them, there's a website called The Unblinking Eye that you can look up different variations, or several different variations. This style of gun was made from around 1910. With the model 1910, it was chambered in 25 auto and .32. And I guess some upgrades or whatever were made around 1914. It became the 1914, and these models were made, I believe it's like the Type 3. I could be wrong. That website will clear it up if there's any question, but was made until around 1922, 1923, with this being one of the last ones manufactured. And I believe that they were manufactured, this style of gun, all the way up into World War II, I believe. I believe this turned into a model 1934, if I'm not mistaken. The grips were a little different. Had a more swept back on them. The palm swell, if you will say it, whatever. But anyway, this is a nice old gun. I did take it out to the range about a month and a half ago for the first time in since the 80s, and shot it. I think I put 1 or 2 magazines through it, and it was flawless. I will say one thing about firing these is the floor plate on the magazine is very uncomfortable if you have larger hands. wear an extra large glove, and it tears into my pinky finger pretty good. So be aware of that. If you shoot it, it might be better to put your pinky finger underneath. I don't know, everybody's different, but given the kind of sharp angle of the grip, I shouldn't say sharp angle, but lack of angle at the grip, it does seem to have a sharper recoil than most 32s. I remember when I shot it in the 80s, I was surprised at how much muzzle flip it had for the size of caliber that it was shooting. Shooting it a month or two ago, I didn't notice it as much, but it is apparent that the gun, for me anyway, seems like it has a little bit more muzzle flip and recoil than the typical pistol of its size and caliber. And just to show a comparison in size, this is my Colt 1903, which was also made around 1921, just for a size comparison. Both of these are in 32 automatic. Obviously, I prefer the Colt over the Mauser for general shooting at the range and whatnot. But the Mauser's an interesting gun, has an interesting history, and was fun to shoot nonetheless. I enjoyed shooting it, and it was not inaccurate. As you'll see in the video, I'm going to post a video from my range session at the end of this. So anyway, that's my Mauser, and I guess we could go over disassembly, which I have not done in ages on this, so this might get interesting. I'm going to call, I haven't watched any videos on how to properly take this down, and we're going to take it down and get the barrel removed. We are not going to remove the slide just because it's been so long since I've done it. I don't remember how difficult it was and if I fought it. So, I mean, it's literally been 25 years since I've taken this apart. But anyway, make sure the gun's unloaded, obviously, which it is. We're going to this takedown lever. There's a little, push this little plunger in underneath it and swing this 90 degrees. We'll call it clockwise. And then this piece should slide out. Okay. And then the barrel should come right out the top. And it's very easy to do. I believe this actually retains the barrel. It's hard to do this through a camera, but you'll see that that's what retains the barrel in the gun. And also was your recoil spring goes over that, I believe. If you look in here, the recoil spring goes over what I would call a recoil lug that this slides through. Holds it all together. Like I said, we're not going to take the gun any further apart than what we already have, just because it's been a long time and I don't want to fight getting it back together and start looking stuff up online. We'll just reassemble it here. As far as after range cleaning, this is all you need to do anyway. Slap it back together in the reverse manner. Hard to do that through the camera. And it just swings around, and you've got to push in the plunger and swing that back down to where it's vertical. And like I said, it's got interesting safety on it also, which we'll show. Push this, get the slide to go back down here. And the safety is activated by pushing down on this. So it's in the down position. And to release the safety, you push in on the button. So that's right in a spot that you'd think it'd be a mag release, but this has the European mag release on the bottom. So the safety's interesting. I don't know if that's a plus or a minus being built that way. For me, it's just a range gun every 25 years, so it don't really matter. But safety on, safety off. Anyway, nice old gun, interesting mechanics. Hope you enjoyed the video. Stick around for the range session. All right, I've got my Mauser 32 ACP. I'm going to run about one mag through it, do some chronograph on it, and look at the group. Looks like 8 rounds. It's a little windy. I'm hoping you can hear me. Here we go. $901. $874. $841. $795. $883. $869. $854. And $872. All right. I was running some 71 grain Full Metal Jacket Remington. That stuff is probably from the 70s, belonged to my grandfather. The velocities were pretty decent. Let's go take a look at the groups. Or the group. And it's not bad. I'm shooting real close. It's only 7 yards. That's the first time I'd shot that gun since the late 80s. Say it's probably, it's okay. As I remembered, the gun was not overly comfortable to shoot. It's got the protruding floor plate on the bottom that was digging into my hand. And because of the, I think because of the vertical grip, it's a little, you can feel a little bit more of the recoil. It's a sharper recoil than the Colt hammerless. But shot good. I'm happy with it. Like I said, I haven't shot this gun since I was a teenager, probably back in the mid to late 80s. Enjoyed it.